Hello guys, and welcome back to another top 5 video for the Lord of the Rings Total War mod for Rome Remastered. Before I dive into today's video, I just wanted to talk to you guys about a few things, just because I want to be able to be the best content creator that I can be for myself and for you guys. And so I just kind of wanted to put this in a video just to try and get your guys' feedback, whether you talk about it with me on a live stream or in the comments, just so I can just get some honest feedback from you guys, because again, I just want to make content that you guys are actually enjoying and wanting to come back to my channel to watch, basically watch or catch up, catch a live stream, you name it. I just want you guys here with me. With that being said, I took some time today to look at my channel analytics after I made a few more faction guides for the mod. And over the past month, we've seen tremendous growth. I cannot thank you guys enough for that. In terms of what the channel has been doing, the last 28 days or 4 weeks has just been outstanding. So thank you for that. In terms of views and new people coming to the channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. I hope you guys stick around. But with that, there were some things within the analytics that is a little disheartening to see. The biggest thing, as you can see here with the photo, I don't have the exact percentages up, but on my channel analytics, I can obviously see them. Almost 85% of those who have watched, either the live streams or the videos the last month, have not been subscribed to me, and that's okay. Obviously, like, I get it. You guys may be, testing things out. You may have watched a video and then weren't, really into the channel, and I get that. That's okay. But it also tells me how many of you guys, are returning viewers, and there's still like 70% of that initial group of newer viewers coming back to the channel. For example, I was looking at a video that I released 2 days ago, and out of 100 views, 84 of them were people that weren't subscribed to me, but all of you guys were returning viewers. And so it would just really help me out a lot, really, to just grow the channel into what I want it to be. And it's not that and I don't want anyone to think this. It is not that I want to hit to 1,000 subscribers and just start making money. That is not the intent. That is not the goal by any means. It's more so, it's just more so for the YouTube algorithm, because the YouTube algorithm, basically, the faster you grow as a channel, and the more subs you gain, the more YouTube promotes you, because they're just like, wow, this Lemon Pledge guy, people are just flooding to him. He must be doing something right. So let's promote the crap out of his content, so even more people come to YouTube to watch his stuff, that kind of thing. And while, gaining 1,000 subscribers and being able to do the super chats and monetization and all that stuff is really great and really cool, the biggest thing is I just want a bigger group of you guys that, enjoy Warhammer 3 or the Lord of the Rings Total War mod for Rome Remastered, or just Total War games in general. I just would like to get a bigger crowd, for live streams, for videos, for discussions on Discords, or live stream chats, or VODs, or videos, in the comment section, that kind of thing. Because ultimately, we all win in that scenario, because if more people are there, there's more discussion being had, and overall, it's just more or less should, and I'm hopeful that it will be a better environment for all of you guys. So those of you who are subbed to me and keep coming back, thank you very much. I appreciate that. For those who are returning viewers and just haven't quite decided if you want to hit that sub button or not, I beg and implore you to please hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, so you get notified when I do either a live stream or upload a video, and just help me, grow my channel. There's only so much I can do in terms of making content and whatnot. Because lastly with that, I mean, the biggest thing is the more feedback I get from you guys, the better content that I'm therefore able to make. So, if there's a reason why almost, 85-90% of you guys keep coming back to the channel but don't feel like subscribing to me, tell me why. I can handle some harsh criticism if I need to. Just I ask that you just still keep it somewhat YouTube and internet friendly, but if I'm doing something terribly wrong that you guys you just like checking a few things here and there, but overall you just don't want to hit that sub button, feel free to tell me. I just want to become a better YouTuber and content creator for you, especially those of you who just haven't quite hit that subscribe button yet, because the better I can be, and the more I can get you to be like, yeah, I'd want to subscribe to this guy. That's the kind of videos and the live streams that I want to be producing, because I want to, I want as many people here as possible. If I could have 1 million people here, I would do that. But anyway, overall, thank you all for the support. I hope this continues. I hope the channel growth keeps continuing, and I'm really excited for the Lord of the Rings Total War mod going into the future, as well as Warhammer 3 coming with Immortal Empires in about 2.5 weeks now on the 23rd of August. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for the channel, and let's just see how crazy we can really take this thing. Now on to the actual video. This top 5 video will be talking about the top 5 things I wish I knew before really diving into the mod itself. So really it's just kind of it's not necessarily like a 1 through 5, like this is the one thing you really need to know. Excuse me, it's just 5 things that while I was playing and looking at things, I was like, wow, like this is different from this game, or I was like, oh, why isn't this happening during this situation or this battle or whatever may be happening. For me, it was just like, oh, like it would have been nice to kind of know this, so I wouldn't have spent time or resources during the game to make this happen or make something better, that kind of thing. So that's where I kind of got the inspiration to make this video. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is currently in patch 1.0. There is a wall block, or a archer or missile based line of sight, wall block. So here I'm just gonna have kind of like a slideshow of photos, and so in some of these photos I do have some arrows that you later on will see, but as you can tell, most of the photos here, which it'll just cycle through a few, but you can see like from different angles the archers don't actually have a clear line of sight to their target. So when the enemy is approaching from a super far distance, archers will be able to like arch their shots enough, but for the most of their range they're actually not shooting because they don't have a clear line of sight. Even though they're on a high ground, or just 20 feet, standing on a wall, the extra like wall that like either sticks up or is just taller than the actual unit, it's not like other games where you just shoot through the wall. It's an actual like block. It's as if you were standing in front of a brick wall and you're trying to shoot an arrow through it. Your units just aren't firing. And so really you see this a lot in like custom siege maps. So for these photos I used Helm's Deep and Rivendell, but I know other maps like Minas Tirith have the issue. I'm pretty sure the Black Gate has the issue. Really it's any like custom settlement that kind of has the same kind of like wall, like line of sight block. So just something to look out for if you're going into a custom battle, like custom battle map, and it has like walls like this, and you place missile units up there. Just double check, like get down, like right in front of the unit, how I have taken some of the photos, and just see if you can see the enemy from a certain distance, then your unit's gonna be able to see them, and if they can't, if you can't, then they can't, which means they'll not be shooting. And in sieges, if your missile units have even more than half of their ammo before the enemy gets within inside your walls due to siege towers or what have you, then that unit is basically wasted because they're not going to be useful in melee. So just something to be on the lookout for when doing siege battles, custom siege battles, excuse me. Secondly is Cav Charges, being much different than Medieval 2, and more importantly, because it is a Lord of the Rings mod, it's not that it's a bad thing, but the Lord of the Rings Total War mod for Rome Remastered, is and probably will forever be heavily compared with Divide and Conquer, and that's okay. Competition should only breed, improvement for both mods. However, using the Rome Remastered and like old Total War engine is not the updated Medieval 2 engine, and so you will not see cavalry units just charge into the back of an enemy or charge through a enemy front line and kill like 80 of them, depending on the tier of the infantry unit. It is just not something that happens in this mod, and it took me a few playthroughs to really understand that, because I came playing into this mod a few months ago where I was like, divide and conquer mindset, because that's what I had been playing for so long in terms of Lord of the Rings. And so I'm charging, and then I just kind of like forgot about my cav units because I figured they had punched through and they were just running the enemy down. And then I look in my cav unit, it was basically destroyed because they punched through and got 20 or so kills, and then got stuck into melee, and then they died instantly because of their hitboxes being bigger. And so because of that, with the Lord of the Rings mod, you definitely have to pay attention more to your cav units and actually cycle charging them. Even if they have super high charge bonuses like the White Knights or the Rohan cav units or the Mordor cav that are really good, same with Gundabad. Almost any cav unit you are going to need to cycle charge or push through, like with the Rune Chariots. It's really easy to send them into attack and just forget about them, but I cannot emphasize that enough. Make sure you are cycle charging your cav units and not just expecting them to one punch through a unit, because more times than not that will not actually happen. So just something to be on the lookout for, especially if you're playing as Rohan, because you need your cav to win a lot of battles for you, and you can't be constantly retraining your units because you lose 60 to 70% of your army every single battle. So moving on to the third thing I wish I knew is unit descriptions. Now I know this one sounds like really like duh lemon pledge, like why wouldn't you read that stuff to begin with? It's not that I didn't know they were there or that I didn't think they were important or anything. It's just a lot of times, especially in the newer Total War titles, there are so many ways to work around those things. Like you could throw a non-armor piercing unit against heavily armored unit in some Total War titles, and if you have 2 or 3 versus that one, you're probably still going to win just by war of attrition. However, in this game, or in this mod more specifically, that does not work. If you want a spearman unit to be cav efficient, basically cav defensive, make sure it says bonus versus cavalry, like the Guards of the Fountain, or other like spearman unit like the Dwarven Halberdiers, things like that. Pay very close attention to those traits. That way when you go into a fight and you're like, oh, it's a spearman unit, it's bound to be bound to have an advantage against cav units. That's not necessarily the case, because I speak from experience where I was playing as Isengard, which you guys won't have to deal with it because they have made this update already, but the basic Uruk-hai spearman unit used to not have a bonus versus cav attribute, and they got absolutely slaughtered by Rohan cav units. And so I asked, I was like, I mean, it's a spearman unit. Why is it losing to a frontal charge of Cav? And they just told me, like, well, it doesn't actually have, even though it's a spearman unit, it doesn't have that bonus versus Cav, so it doesn't have like an extra bonus like you would expect, like from pikemen, kind of thing. And so just whether it's armor piercing, hit points, bonus versus like large, so like elephants or chariots, good stamina, morale, excuse me, all of that stuff, pay attention to that stuff with very, very close detail, because depending who you're going up against, you may not have to worry about armor piercing. You may not have to worry about, monster type units or cav units, that kind of thing. And so it just helps you prepare your armies a lot better with what you're going to go up against. So, you don't bring armor piercing units to fighting the Dunlendings, that kind of thing like that. So just something to be, aware of in regards to that. The fourth thing I wish I knew, the difference between withdrawing versus retreating. So I have a few photos here that I've taken from my videos and live streams. I had not seen this in so long. When it happened, I didn't realize there was a difference. And so when I first started playing the mod and I was playing as Rohan, I'm just cycle charging against Isengard and just beating them senseless. And then all of a sudden, I hear like the enemy unit general like say withdraw or whatever, but like it didn't give me that, you have completed like all the battle objectives. Do you want to continue or just quit? That kind of thing. But on the unit card, like on this photo here, it said withdrawing. So I was like, oh, I can just charge into them and run them down. Not a big deal. That is not true. So if a unit has this symbol on it and it just says they were withdrawing, and you go and attack them, they will turn around and fight you. That is basically them saying they've given up, but not to the point where, if you start attacking them, they're not going to fight back. So, it's not that big of a deal if it's Cav versus basic infantry, but when it's Cav against pikemen or spearmen, kind of makes a pretty big deal. Versus the opposite of retreating, the unit will literally say, just like this photo, like routing or retreating, or it'll even the battle will even give you the like completed objectives mod. Do you want to continue or end the fight? And then you can run those units down. Because there will be some times where you basically like I think of it kind of like this, where the AI, when they just do like the withdrawing thing, it's basically like whatever you've done it so well that the AI is giving up, but they don't want to admit to giving up. So they want to withdraw and save as many troops as they can, but they're still going to stubbornly fight you if you try and kill them. So just something to be aware of, just so you don't charge units or try and run enemy units down with whatever forces you have, and then suddenly be like, hey, why am I still losing units because they're turning around and fighting me, that kind of thing. Just something that really caught me off guard, and some people will be aware of that with older titles. I had just completely forgotten about it, so just something to be aware of with fighting battles towards the end of battles. And then lastly is recruitment and replenishment. Again, because I had played DaC for so long, Divide and Conquer, I got used to being able to recruit, especially playing as the dwarves, right? You can sometimes you can get buildings that let you have like 8 recruit slots, like 6 like free upkeep unit slots within a city, that kind of thing. More or less being able to recruit any unit anywhere. Once it got to a certain, like a large town, minor city, large city, that kind of stuff, like eventually you're going to be able to build a barracks. It may not be the highest tier barracks, but you're still going to be able to build a barracks or an archery range or whatever it may be. You're going to be able to build it and retrain units anywhere. That is not the case in the older games and the older engines. Through these photos here, I'll show you, it relies really on 3 big things, 3 things. One is it has to have a region with that resource. So, for example, if it has horses, to be able to recruit and retrain a horse unit, it has to have like the horse resource in that region. Secondly, it has to have the population enough to refill or retrain that unit. So if say you only have like the lowest a settlement population can go to is 400. Say you have 450 and a unit card has 200 and you need 100 to you lose 100, so it's you need 100 to replace it. You won't be able to retrain that unit because you lack the population to do so. So really something to be aware of on that end is population and region, like certain region resources play a much bigger role. And likewise, kind of like in Divide and Conquer, but it's unlike, like new Total War titles, like Warhammer, for example, where you can, your units instantly replenish, or you're able to do global recruitment, that kind of thing. In the photo here, you can only recruit and retrain units based on the military building you have in that specific settlement. Doesn't matter if you can recruit every possible unit, if you're playing as Gondor, if you could recruit every possible unit in Minas Tirith, but you're trying to recruit all those units in Dol Amroth, that's just not going to happen. You have to have the building, like the military specific building, to actually recruit and retrain those units. So, and for me, like, growing up playing Rome Total War, I knew that, but it had just been so long that I kind of totally forgot about it, and I was just like, well, duh, like, I should have known this, but I basically, in one of my campaigns, I expanded way too fast, way too early on, and I was like, oh, no problem, I'll be able to retrain things, and then I realized I couldn't, and it kind of just bit me in the ass. So, just something to be aware of on that end as well, because it's not as simple as just waiting a few turns to for your units to replenish or globally recruit things. All of your armies, because of this recruitment and replenishment system, all of your armies are much more valuable, especially throughout the campaign. Even as long as you can keep retraining those units, they'll keep maintaining some level of experience, and that's how you're going to make your armies ultimately stronger, is based on that experience. So recruitment and replenishment, vital part to your a successful campaign. But that is the video. I know it's kind of a longer one, but I hope you guys will kind of learn from my mistakes, from the 5 things I talked about here. And lastly, again, if you haven't subscribed to me yet and you're kind of thinking about it, take the plunge. I ask you to take the plunge and take the chance with me, and help my channel grow, so I can just be better for it, to be better for you guys. Because ultimately, it's not that I want to become monetized so I can just start making money. That's not it at all. I really just want to interact with you guys, because I love interacting with you guys. I would live stream 12 hours a day if I could, if I didn't have to work my full-time job. I love interacting with you guys. I love responding to your comments on my videos and my live streams. I just love the interaction. I love the questions, the feedback. It's all great, and it's all very helpful for me, and hopefully helpful for others, because I've talked about it in some of my live streams, because really I just want this channel to be a place where you could have 10,000 hours in Rome Remastered, and you could have 1 hour, and I want both of those extremes and ends of the spectrum to be able to come together, and not one feel like a smug like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I don't have to talk to you, versus someone who just like, I honestly just don't know what I'm doing and I just need some help. Because I've been there where you try and reach out to a new community because you just honestly don't know what you're doing, and then you get shut down because you're a noob and you just don't know what's going on. And like with any game and really anything that you're working on, the more you play it, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, and it just takes time. And there's nothing wrong with getting some help along the way. So thank you all for your support. Again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. So stay safe and be healthy, and I will talk to you guys very shortly. Bye.